Okay, for anybody just starting out, what you'll want to do is get your list of all your expenses together. Your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, anything you buy every month that's generally consistent or you pay for every month. Car payments, car insurance, internet, any debts that you have, any credit cards that you have, all your subscriptions, every single one of them. I'm going to get those together with their dollar amounts, the due dates, and if you can find a balance, that would be helpful in another video. You have it all in one spot, and I'll show you where to put it on the first step of this. Any, what do they call it? Copays, any consistent copays, like I go to the doctor once a month. I know it's always a $25 copay. So I budget for that. Um, all your subscriptions, even your ones that are just paid yearly, I do those as well. And then you also want to get any income that you have, uh, any consistent income. My husband's job pays twice a month, so I know he gets two checks a month and roughly what their dollar amounts will be. I also get two checks once a month, and I also know what those paychecks will be every month. And we have a consistent amount that we spend on cat food because I always buy generally the same items all the time. So you just get a list of all of those together, the dates that they're due, the minimum amount that's owed every month, or an average amount that's owed every month. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Like my electric bill fluctuates based on the time of the year. I have a flat amount that I estimate to pay. Um, some months I don't pay over, some months I do. It just depends on how everything's going. But I'll show you all that. And so once you get all that together, the next step is to go to your computer. And where you want to do there is go to Google. If you have a Google account, if you don't, sign up. But go to Google and then you go to this thing over here where your Google apps are and you click on that. And then you want to find Google Sheets, which is right here. And you click on that. And we're going to be making a new spreadsheet. So you click on this little plus symbol. And that's it. You open up Google Sheets. And then in a minute, I will show you how to organize these and why I do it the way I do. One thing I forgot to mention while you're getting a list of all of your expenses together, if you already put any money into savings automatically, um, you can write that down as well. We don't have anything auto deducted into savings other than pre-tax stuff that comes out of the checks before we even get them. But we do have additional savings accounts for different, we need a roof and a few other auto repairs and just um, random things that we like to keep a savings account for. So I have to automatically transfer that money over to those accounts. So I have to manually transfer those items over. So I account for them in the budget as well. What I like to do first is paychecks, all your income. And I'm starting here. I'm not going to start in A1. I'm going to start down here in A2. I might have to adjust it later, but if I do, I will edit this part out. So I do um, one paycheck is, and the next paycheck, and then Brian's paycheck. I like to keep it all capitalized. You can format these however you want. So these are our income. If I could type. There we go. And then these are our payments. just because I like to try to keep things organized, I also fill in my boxes with color and green is for good, red is for that. So there we go. Those are income, and these are going to be expenses. And again, we go to mortgage. The due date on that is the first of every month. The balance, I'm not 100% sure on. I'll fill that in later. I'm going to go from, I'm not putting these in any type of order. You can move them around later up to a point, but then you're not going to want to do that afterwards. I'm going to try to put these in order of our highest bills to our lowest bills, but they're going to get moved around anyway, and I'll show you how to do that. Once we get the formulas going, you'll want to leave them where they are. You won't want to mess with these two columns anymore. So I know this next step is temporary, but it's a big one. And that is $350 per month. And I'm going to call that one net one. Up here in this area is where you can type, you make sure your cursor is where you want it to be so you can edit anything that you're typing in the cell that's highlighted. This debt here is $170 per month. And debt number 3 is it's $100 per month. I pay more on it right now, but they only require $100 per month. And then we have 3 credit cards, so those aren't. I'll just keep going. That one, the minimum payment is generally $120 per month. This one, the payment is generally $30 per month. And this one, the payment is generally $20 per month. Get those done. And then we go to the electric bill. I budget $500 a month for the electric bill. That gets us through the winter with a surplus and then a pretty good excess for the summertime bills, which are ridiculous. So, water, a water bill is generally $60 a month, pretty regularly, until they read the meter and we get slammed. But internet, that is $80 a month. I'm just marking things off my list as I type them down, so just bear with me for a second. Those are all of our subscriptions. Then we got cat food. First order of the month. I keep it around $170. And then second order of the month, I allow the same. Sometimes I need a little more, sometimes I need a little bit less. Kitty litter is unsure right now. The price has gone through the roof, and we average, I'll have to get a calculator out here real quick. I know after tax, it's gone up quite a bit. It's $7 a bag, roughly, give or take. So it's $7 a bag, and say we use about 20 bags a month. That's $140. So I'll just put that for right now. And I can always adjust it later if I find we're using less than that. Um, I can fix it. But we do use a lot of kitty litter just because we change the litter boxes all the time. Uh, Car insurance. I'm sure that's going to go up soon, but as of right now, we're hovering about 220, 215, 220 a month. Hi, I was forgot to hit record. The only thing I went through and I did was I started putting due dates in. Um, that's all I did. I was just kind of popping around, hitting the thing and entering the date that it was due. I left off at car insurance, and I'm going to start putting all the rest of our monthly subscriptions. If you need to make something wider, you go up here till your cursor is splitting the line like that, and then you just double click your mouse and it, just like Excel, it'll expand it to the widest word. That'll give you more room in the cells. I'm going to show you how to format these as well. Right now we're just trying to get the information into the sheet. So medical insurance. I know my premium's getting ready to go up. I have no idea what it's going up to, but I put last year's premium. It was $65 a month, and it was always due on the 24th of the month. And then we go through the rest of these. Patreon. I don't know how to spell it, but I know what that means. It's $5 a month, and it's due on the first of every month. Apple Music is roughly $13, and it is due on the 4th of every month. Amazon Photos is $212 a month. iCloud Google Amazon Prime. I want to cancel this one, but I haven't yet. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it. I know it is $150 a year, so 150 divided by 12 is 1250. So if I budget 1250 per month, that'll give me my 159 or $150 when it's due. Walmart Plus, that is $99 a year. Also, let's see, it's $825 per month. I'm gonna go up here. Chewy Plus is $49 a year. Is $4.09 a month. This is part of what I put into a savings account, so the money is there. And Photoshop That's another one that I want to cancel. Um, they used to have a student plan. It was like Lightroom and Photoshop for $11.99 a month. They did away with that. Now their cheapest plan is works out to like $35 a month. And I just don't use Photoshop enough anymore to. I mean, it comes with the whole pretty much Adobe suite for the most part. But I don't use a lot of that stuff. I mean, for the 2 or 3 times a year, I use Adobe Acrobat, and I mean, I can live without Photoshop. I can learn something else that will, do the same thing. Uh, let's see, especially with all these new Chat GPT and everything, I don't need Photoshop anymore. Let's see. But that Photoshop price of $35, I think I'm locked in because I had to sign up for a year, and I think I can't cancel before February or March without a penalty. Dr. Todd is $30 a month. And then I know we have a few different medicines and copays um, that are consistent every month. So, and they are auto deducted, so uh, for shipping. So I budget them separately. Okay, that's all I can have written down for right now. I'm sure if I went through we have a few different bank accounts and um, the credit cards as well. If I went through and looked, I'd probably find 1 or 2 things I've missed. But overall, these are our new monthly bills because we've added a few bills this year. Um, Medical insurance used to always be free, and now I have to pay for it, and a few other things in here. We added the Chewy, um, and one of these copays we added is new. So, oh, and then we gotta do savings. Brian, I try to do $50 a paycheck into savings, and I'll tell you guys about that as well if you want to hear it. Do whatever you want with your money, but um, I find just because like we have savings accounts through our bank attached to our checking account, but they don't pay us any interest. So what I do is every paycheck I transfer $50, depending on whose paycheck it was, to their PayPal account. And PayPal offers a savings account. It's a high yield. Um, I haven't checked what the interest rate is in a while, but that's where I put our savings account money because, just get a little bit of money in there and it starts earning interest every month, and it adds up pretty quick. So that's what I use for savings, and then the money's there. It's not as easily accessible as it was if it was just linked to our checking accounts and we could transfer it over. We'd have to get it out of PayPal. And then, if you do an instant transfer, you have to pay a fee, which sucks. But if you're not impulse spending and you know the expense is coming up, you can do the free transfer that takes a few days to your bank. So that's the savings that I try to do every month. Okay, and now we're going to do some formatting. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this cell right here. It's blank right now. And I'm going to look for the sum function, which is right here. Um, so I'm going to hit this button and put sum, and then I'm going to go all the way back up here to the very start of our expenses and click on it and hold it and drag it all the way down. And you see how the formula is calculating it? I get all the way to here, and I'm going to let go on our last expense. Nope, never mind. Let's try that again. Click on our first expense, hold the button down, drag it all the way down. What did I do? Circular dependency. Okay, try it this way. We're going to put in here, we're going to change this from B37 to B36. There we go. So this is a total. If I click on this cell again, it's a total of all the dollar amounts from B8 to B36, which if you look, this is B36, that's our last dollar amount, and B8 is our first one. So that equals everything we pay out every month that we have going out, besides food, gas, and anything extra. And then I could do the same thing with our income. I can click on this box right here and hit the sum button and select sum and then highlight it in it and hit enter. And then, so that's our income, total income. I guess I could, let's see how it messes this up. If we insert one row below. Yeah, let's undo that. This is your undo button. Let's do one row above. There, we inserted a row there. And we're going to unformat this so it's not filled, so we don't get it confused. And let's see if that messed this up. And it did not, because this is equal to B37 instead of B36. Kitty, a cat just stepped on my keyboard and deleted that whole formula. So I'll show you how to do it again. Go over here to your function button and click on sum. And then start on your first, hold it, drag all the way down to your last, and hit enter. And there you go. And then you can take it a step further if you just want to see. I'm always curious. And here I'm going to go total income, total expense, never really excess, but EXCSS. So total income, I'm going to make, total income is in cell B6. So I'm going to go down here, or I type, because what you're doing now is you're formatting these. So if you ever have to change anything, these will automatically change. So this is equal to B6. And this one is equal to B38. And this one here is sum. I will do B41 minus B42. And there's your difference. So what'll happen is, say this one here, say I want to start putting $100 a month into his savings account. So if I change this to 100, watch what happens to total expenses in excess. It automatically calculated it. So it changed it, went $50. And I'll put it back and it'll change back again. So I'm just hitting the dollar amount I want and tab. Somebody gets a raise or loses their job, same thing. You can zero out their income. B6 will go down here, and because we formulated it over here, income went down here, and then it also changed this formula here. So just a few different basic things. I used to love Excel. I used to have a job a long, long, long time ago, where I did spreadsheets, and we inputted all of our information to Excel. We transferred it into a database. No, we had a database in Access, a huge database in Access, and we formatted it, and we could pull different reports and things into Excel and make spreadsheets. And I actually made one when I worked at the courthouse too. I had a big database I made that would fill out forms for me. Because when I used to have to do criminal restitution orders, it would just I wrote a form letter that would automatically populate information in the blank spaces with names, dollar amount owed, and things like that. And it's just a lot of fun to mess around with. I don't remember all of it. I'm sure if I sat here and looked it up and Googled it, excuse me, it would come back to me. But um, it, all of this isn't necessary. It's just a fun way to do your bills. And I don't know about you guys, but the more fun something is, the more likely I am to do it. So that's all. And then I'm just changing the colors so that these are easy for me to spot when I'm looking. Um, so this is the first step down, or done, really. I'm going to make this a fun color because extra money is always fun. Until I realized I forgot a bunch of bills and that we really don't have that much because we don't really ever have that much left over. So that's it for right now. We got all of our income listed and then all of the expenses that I can remember listed. And there you go. The next step will be breaking these down into each paycheck. So my next step would be, and I'll show you how to do it, but the next step is going to be, okay, what's due when, and generally what paycheck coincides most likely with that date. I might have to pay some things early. Some things might be a little bit late. I try not to do that on things that have late fees because late fees drive me nuts, but it happens. But that's the next step is breaking all of this down into, I have 4 paychecks. So I'm going to break all of our bills down from these 4 paychecks so that every time one check comes in, I can sit down and be like, okay, these bills get paid this paycheck, and I'll have a amount at the end that'll say how much is left from that paycheck if we have any unexpected expenses, um, or we want to put more towards savings, or if it's a holiday or whatever. And I'll do that for each one of these, and that'll be the next video.